Yeah, it's Friday here on UCY.TV. Wow. Excuse me, folks. Damn, that caught me off guard. Sorry about that. This is Boiler Room Radio, and I am your host, Jim Funke. We will be together for the next 60 minutes here on UCY.TV. The phones will be open, 718-717-8296, if you want to join in to this conversation after we do the market minute. We will, which usually takes about 20. But then we're going to dive into a really, really fun, fantastic story that should get all of your attention really quickly. So in the meantime, I will throw it over to my brother from another mother, Mr. Lance Musser from Virginia. Good evening, Lance. How's B's Smoke'ems?
Pretty good, pretty good. No,
you getting ready to burn up some chicken?
I am doing it. I am actually going to go out and get some chicken after we get off the air down to my farmer's market so I can marinate it tonight. Yep. And I'm going to smoke that up tomorrow and try it on the new smoker.
Yay. Can't wait to see a video.
I'll be taking them.
Have to jump over to YouTube and hit the like button and tweet it out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be excited about the whole Boy Scout thing coming up here. Getting ready to jump off into your first full-time pay-em gig.
I'd say more nervous than excited. I am excited, but I was
How can you be nervous, man?
about
you know
that.
How to burn meat.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got to do the coleslaw and the baked beans, so I'm trying to figure out. All right, the cans are 7 pounds of baked beans, and I'm going to need 7-8 cans because it's 4 ounces per person. So, I'm just like, you're scared to death. It's just like having a party at your house. You don't want to run out of food.
True. Yeah,
I'm not worried
about. You don't want to run out. Make sure everybody gets one helping. Yeah. Everybody has to at least get one.
I'm bringing 20 extra helpings is what is in my plans.
There you go.
So we'll see what happens with it.
Right on.
But one more week tomorrow.
Yeah, buddy. I can't wait. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you. I'm nervous for you.
Mm-hmm.
Wish I could be there. Wish I could be there to hold the camera.
Yeah, I'll have a full-time cameraman on me, and my daughter's boyfriend will be filming the whole thing when we do 120 chickens and 30 butts on that smoker.
Nice. Everybody's going to love your butts.
I got some great butts.
All right, brother, let's jump over into the market minute and see what's going on Wally Street.
Amazing. If you're 401k, if you have one, it did well. If you haven't gotten out all of your money that you can, because it's darn hard to cash out and get out of a 401k. I mean, you really can't. The best thing you can do is just take as much of a loan against it as you can, because that's the only way you're getting it. If you've already committed to a 401k,
let me ask you this, though. Can't you transfer it? This is what somebody told me too. Can't you transfer it from wherever you've got it into a gold-backed 401k, IRA, whatever you want to call it? Mm-hmm. And then once you get control of that gold-backed, can't you then tell them you want to trade that for physical?
And see, that's where I would be confused a little bit, because as it was explained to me, if I wanted to take my whole entire vested and unvested 401k and take it totally out of the market, I could put it into a money market fund, and is guaranteed not to lose any money, because that money is now out of the market, sitting in a escrow account, if you will, at some retirement Wall Street company, and you still can't touch it until the same time that you would have if you had your 401k. But you're totally out of the market. So if you're worried about it crashing, yes, you can do that. And then if the market ever turns around, you can put yourself back into it. And I can't remember what they call it, but it would be something to look into if you're serious about your 401k and not wanting to lose the value of it. Because he said a lot of people are doing that right now.
Yep. And
but you still can't touch it.
Right. And that's something that we might jump into here. It depends on what kind of time restraints we've got. But there was one other thing I wanted to bring up about the markets, but we'll give it a go. Go ahead and continue your minute.
Yeah, the Dow, it broke that 16,000 mark. It's actually 16,001. So, again, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Continues. Sorry.
It continues. The mortgages took a little hit today, which was no real surprise. If the market does good, I mean, traditionally the bond market does bad, which is what Greg always tells you to look out for, is the bond market. And my only other, two, money related stories is there is a story that came out today. And it was through, bullionbaron.com. And he talks about a new put that's been put out by George Soros. And remember when we were on the air last year and he put that big one out and made, what was it, 1.28 billion or something like that on that bet that he made. Apparently they're saying that in a 13F that was filed today, the Soros fund changed to a put on the SPY, which is the S&P 500. Mm-hmm. The Soros fund management bought an additional 4 million put shares. So, I'm not saying it's anything, but it's enough to raise eyebrows when Soros puts a put out, because he made $1 billion betting against the British pound. He made $1 billion betting against the Australian dollar, and he made $1 billion betting against the yen. So now he's betting to make 1.25 billion against the stock market, according to this article. So interesting, something to keep our eye on.
When you got stupid money, you can lose, or, you can wager stupid money. It's just, that guy's, he's just evil. If you look at him, that's all he exudes is evil.
He looks evil.
Yeah. So, I mean, evil. He's taken credit for crushing countries. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah. And currencies.
F that guy.
That guy. Currencies and countries.
Yep. And laughed about it and shit,
Laughs about it with his elite buddies.
Anyhow.
And the last story I got, which I think we're going to be breaking it as much as we can. It's on these bankers that keep getting ended up.
Yeah, we're going to dip into that here in a little bit.
And definitely as this story goes on, these stories go on, I think there'll be more of them that come out. But this Gerald Celente, which he's always out there, and he was on the Alex Jones show.
Trends Journal. I mean, yeah, I do watch Trends Journal. That guy's been pretty spot on.
Me too.
And he about 15 years.
Yeah. And he came out and said at least 20 bankers have mysteriously died within the last several weeks, but there's only the 5 top level ones are the ones that are being reported. But he says that there's a slew of low level bankers are being eliminated because of what they can say, on how they can imprison the criminal elite for their financial crimes against the rest of humanity, because dead bankers can't talk.
That's right.
So, it's a Gerald Celente / AJ story. So, take it on how you will, but I think we'll hear more about this in the coming week. So stay tuned.
From somewhere anyway. I don't know if Main Street's going to cover it, but,
no, stay tuned here.
Yeah. The government rag had a little bit of a blurb on it earlier today too. That was kind of a unique take. I think I passed you that story earlier, but,
yeah, along with that, weird city that was built in Virginia for training purposes. That was a very odd story.
That was odd, especially the mosque right in the middle of it.
I did notice that.
So, is that your minute wrap up?
I am complete. Yeah, it's only a short show tonight, so we keep it short.
Right on. We'll jump over here and let Scott have his 2 minutes and 14 seconds. By the way,
he's still on his backup.
Yeah, we've been talking about how funny his voice sounds, and he did drop everybody a note on YouTube and let them know that his main computer was burnt up, and he's on a backup system, and that's why he sounds kind of funny. But he's trying to get his main one back up, and that's why. So, whoops. Hey, hang on a second. Let me try that over again. I didn't mute the room. Heard myself clear my throat. Very uncouth. I should stop doing that on the microphone. Click. Okay, now let's try this.
Hello, this is Scott and this is the Hype Report. Here are quotes for various items. First, enforce redistribution. The EU is looking for ways to wean the 28-country bloc from its heavy reliance on bank financing and find other means of funding small companies, infrastructure projects, and other investments. Their solution is to mobilize more personal pension savings for long-term financing. In short, to confiscate personal savings in those countries. Next, Greek unemployment. In a harbinger for what is to come for many countries, Greek unemployment rose to a record high of 28%. The Greek youth unemployment hit a record high of 61.4%. No doubt many Obama-Rec supporters like Nancy Pelosi are envious of the Greek unemployment situation because they have been allowed to escape their jobs. Next, UN Small Arms Treaty. The UN just issued Resolution 2117, which calls for member states to collect civilian arms and destroy them. Needless to say, Obama and others are just thrilled and are likely getting the Department of Homeland Security ready with all the bullet purchases to go after the over 80 million determined gun owners. So, what kind of distraction is needed for Obama thugs to be successful? How about an economic collapse or other man-made crisis?
Did you all hear that? I'm going to pause that for just 1 second. The UN passed that resolution calling for all member states to collect civilian firearms and destroy them. Heads up.
Next, Utah Data Center. Can Utah shut down the new NSA data center by turning off the water? The data center requires 1.7 million gallons of water a day to cool those NSA computers. The nice thing is that the 10th Amendment would allow the state to do this, and the years in appeals courts would render the data center inert. Next, framework. Obama has released a framework designed to reduce cyber attacks to help businesses and organizations protect critical infrastructure and intellectual property. Now, the question is the Obama-Rec website the poster child of network insecurity, the model for this type of framework? Speaking of Obama-Rec, next, Obama-Rec enrollment slows. There has been a drop-off of approximately 500,000 or 29% in Obama-Rec enrollments in January. In fact, no one in Illinois has enrolled in this scheme. Of the questionable 3.3 million who did enroll, hundreds of thousands have failed to even make their first payment on this boondoggle. Next, find the sniper quiz. Hey, check out this site that has 10 pictures and asks you to spot the sniper. Amazing how well a good sniper can simply blend into the surrounding environment. Good luck finding all 10.
Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
Wow, I hope he gets his main computer back soon because he sounds really, really bad. Not bad, but I mean, real digital.
Did he say not one person in Illinois had signed up for Obamacare?
Not one. And of the 3 million, 3 point whatever million, all the family members of Congress that have signed up, only I think 150,000 of them have actually paid. The rest of them have not. They haven't even paid their first pay in yet. So it's
unless it's employer mandated. Yeah.
Right. It's just a joke. It's a joke. It's a scam. It's a way to take more money from you and give you less health care. Do not enroll in Obamacare. Now, I think we're going to skip over Manarino today because he was talking to the homies again. I listened to it a little bit earlier.
I was actually going to say don't go past the 2 minute and 45 second mark. The first 2 minute 45 seconds was very good.
You think?
And then after that, I cut it off too. I listened to a couple more minutes, but I was like, no.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and play the first two then.
Yeah, 2 minute, 45, 46 seconds, something like that. I looked at it. I was like, okay, this is where it needs to stop. Because it's like 12 minutes.
Yeah, I think he actually put another one out after this one. But here, we'll do this one. It's like 12 minutes long, yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Greg Manarino. How are you today? It is Valentine's Day, Friday, February 14th.
Oh, yeah. Happy VD, everybody.
2014. And what does that mean? That means you should close out of this video and go hug and kiss the person that's important to you. And then come back here. And we're going to talk about a few things. So let's go, people. As I am doing this video blog, the markets are still open. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up over 100 points. Very interesting. Let's back up just a little bit. First of all, I apologize for missing yesterday's market report.
That's okay. I didn't have a show.
I just couldn't do it. But I'm going to cover what happened yesterday and what's going on today. So yesterday, we get retail sales numbers, abysmal, way below forecasts. We get unemployment numbers, again, a miss. And the overnight futures were were absolutely pointing towards a lower market open, and it did. The market was initially down about 100 points, and then we got some rebound. I don't even understand why that happened. And today is even more baffling, and I admit that. Let's talk about it. We get industrial output numbers today, the worst that we've seen since 2009, in over 4.5 years. And meanwhile, so let's put this together. 3 economic hits here in 2 days. Bad retail sales, unemployment, terrible. Industrial output, the worst in 4.5 years, and the market is up over 100 points.
Go figure.
I have to admit that I did not see that coming. I can't imagine how this is actually happening. They're blaming this all on the weather. Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe that had something to do with it here. But again, this is all about perception. It's not about reality. Consumer sentiment came in today. It's flat. So, a lot of the mainstream media outlets are playing this, that the market is up on consumer sentiment. Really, it's flat from last month. So what are they talking about here? I'm still not buying this. As a matter of fact,
they live on 24-hour cycles.
I still believe this, and I went over this in a video that I did on Wednesday, that it's time to take some profit here and either ride this out or go short. I have gone short this market. I am still short this market. I want to talk about that as well, because I got a lot of really
that's where it ends. Right
important questions from people out there.
Well, yeah, but not from us. So, okay. The up and down, like you said, it's flat. Last month it hit 16,000. Nobody's ever going, oh, well, we're back to where we were last month. Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, hey, we're back over 16,000. Take some more money from all the taxpayers. Mm-hmm. Watch your 401ks, folks. I can't tell you that enough. I can't stress that enough. It's all getting ready to come undone, like the seam on a baseball.
Yep.
Once that sumbitch starts fraying, a couple more smacks with the bat and it's coming off. We're smacking it with the bat hard. Almost every week you're watching these people just wallow around in all of the money they're stealing from you.
Disgusting.
It is. And it's a huge scam.
Disgusting.
And people just buy into it, man. Hook, line, and sinker. They live their whole lives by what happens on Wall Street.
Mm-hmm. Or on mainstream media.
Right. Before we jump in, because we're only at 20 minutes, let me see if I can find this story. I want to try to find this story about these bankers and the ones that have been clipped over the last couple of weeks. I guess it is now.
One of the stories that we read, or
no? It's one that that was on the government rag, and I pushed it around a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, you put it on my page too.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I
tagged me in it or something. I can't remember.
Run back here and find it. But anyway, basically what it's getting into is that some of these bankers knew each other personally, had contact with each other personally, over the last several years. And we're watching the things that were going on Wall Street, and we're watching the LIBOR scandal. And here it is right here. Dink. And some other stuff.
In fact, I just pulled it up too.
Yeah. So it says dead JPM bankers knew each other and had uncovered something. And this is from the Silver Doctors. I kind of pay attention to the things they say because they don't tend to lie. I had to clear my throat, sorry. It says, here, this is the article. Wednesday, we reported that another JP Morgan banker had been found dead. As the latest banker to meet a sudden and untimely demise, his name is Ryan Henry Crane, the executive director in JP Morgan's Global Equities Group. Today, Steve Quayle's banker source, V, who predicted that a wave of banker hits was imminent when the very first bankers began dropping last week, has dropped a bombshell regarding the death of Ryan Henry Crane. V states that Crane oversaw all of the trade platforms and worked closely with Gabriel McGee of JPM's London desk, the one that dove off the building after texting his wife that he was on his way.
And he was on his way home for dinner.
Right. That pair had access to the exact same info. V concludes that Crane and McGee knew each other and had uncovered something. V's update on the latest J.P. Morgan bankers to turn up dead is below. And I will actually read it to you. One other thing, he was heard at the program trading desk, meaning he oversaw all of the trades and was familiar with all of the software. They're talking about McGee now. The trade platforms that these trades were done in. This job works closely with guess who? That's right, the London desk. And who died last week in London? Gabriel McGee. So they're talking about the two, the one from here in the U.S. and McGee. He jumped off the 33rd floor, pushed. Yeah. What was his post? His post was head of IT and trade platforms, meaning that he had access to everything that Ryan Henry Crane would have. They knew each other and uncovered something. They were about the same age, and these hits happened when two big announcements by J.P. Morgan had just hit the wire. Those two announcements were this. J.P. Morgan is getting out of commodities and the wholesale selling of their headquarters downtown to the Chinese. Now, I don't know if you guys remember that, but the Chinese just bought J.P. Morgan's building. Not just the gold vault like everybody thought, just the gold vault of bottom 3 floors or whatever. No, they bought the whole building. And that's what I was going to ask you about, is them getting out of the commodities. Now, is that because, what was it, last month they took a 32 million ounce hit to their gold reserves and wound up with nada? Is that why they're all of a sudden dropping out of commodities? Because the only thing they have left is derivatives and paper?
That would be my guess. Just like, Germany.
How can an organization that large get rid of their entire commodities brokerage firm? I mean, how is that really possible? Is that possible? Because I mean, that would mean oil, gold, silver, minerals, everything, right? I mean, not paper, but everything, commodity wise, right?
It's funny because I was just putting that in as a Google while you were talking. Mm-hmm. And the first whole page, because I'm trying to find selling off and stuff like that,
right,
is all articles written by J.P. Morgan. It directs you straight to the J.P. Morgan site. Everything on the first page, just about.
Yeah, here's our blow of propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Sift through this and try to find some truth.
Because everything here is how it's spelled. They're expanding their regional commodities businesses, and they're offering clients a comprehensive set of, risk management stuff for their commodities.
When were those dropped though? Back in 2011?
Yeah, exactly. No dates on them, which is very odd. It doesn't say the dates because most of them do. So yeah, there's your part of your sensor right there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, anytime you would get out of something would be because if you sold mattresses for a living and you ran out of mattresses, what would you do? You'd stop selling mattresses.
Right. You'd jump into pillows all full.
You jump into pillows or something. Linens. Right. Yep. Linens. So you're right. I mean, that's a great story. It's definitely widening. So that would be
I can't wait to hear about these other 18.
See what they stumbled onto.
These other 18 bankers that bit the bullet. I mean, how many of them? There's got to be more than one that killed themselves with a nail gun. I mean, if it's over 25 now.
Well,
because in the first 6, there's one.
The story I read was up to 40.
40? Holy crap! There's got
and that's the one I started out the show with. I thought that's what he said. Gerald Salente said it was up to 40, didn't he?
Yeah, well, there's got to be at least 2 or 3 of them that did it with a nail gun. Then just law of averages.
Yeah. Because that's a real common way to off yourself.
I can't think of 8 shots. 8 shots, man. I mean, he must have really wanted to die. God damn it, I keep missing.
It's not even believable. And to be ruled a suicide immediately, I mean, just, come on, really?
Bah.
As they say, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Bah. I believe it. Bah. Nail gun. Bah. Sorry. Sheeple coming out. Okay. We're just about to the bottom of the hour. I'm going to jump into this next story now. I want everybody that's listening to UCY right now to pay attention. I don't know how many of you saw this. It's been rolling all over Facebook for the last day or day and a half. So, but I know a lot of you folks out there that listen to UCY don't Facebook. And good thing you don't, because it's getting really hanky again.
You're right.
And I'm about ready to dump it again, permanently.
Nah, you'll be on it still. You can't get your cat memes if you don't go on there.
Okay, so here we go. The headline is, and this is from the Dallas Observer, the Facebook comment that ruined a life. This is a fairly long story, so bear with me, folks. Approximately 1 hour after Justin Carter posted a sarcastic comment on Facebook, his life began to unravel. The first reaction occurred behind the scenes in another country. The 18-year-old Carter had no way of knowing that while he did grunt work at a drapery shop in San Antonio, Texas, a person in Canada saw his comments posted 60 days after the Sandy Hook school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. Hang on just 1 second. Okay. Freaked out and initiated, this cat in Canada freaked out and initiated a 24-hour chain reaction of insanity that would wind up with Carter facing 10 years in prison. Carter's comments were part of a duel between dorks and may have had something to do with a game with strong dork appeal called League of Legends. But the actual details and context of the online exchange are, in the eyes of Texas authorities, unimportant. Prosecutors say they don't have the entire thread. Instead, they have 3 comments on a cell phone screenshot. One of the comments appears to be a response to an earlier comment in which someone called Carter crazy. Carter's retort was, "I'm fucked in the head, all right. I think I must shoot up a kindergarten." Carter followed with, "and watch the blood of the innocent rain down." That is a dork. When a person writing under the profile name of Hannah Love responded with, "I hope you burn in hell, you fucking prick," Carter put the cherry on top by saying, "and eat the beating heart of one of them." The Austin police officer who wrote up the subsequent report noted all caps to emphasize his anger or rage. So watch out using your all caps key. That's when someone in Canada, an individual as yet identified in court records, unidentified, notified local authorities because Carter's profile listed him as living in Austin. The Canadians sent a tip to the Austin Police Department, along with a cell phone screenshot of part of the thread and a link to Carter's Facebook page. The tipster provided this narrative. This man, Justin Carter, made a number of threats on Facebook to shoot up a class of kindergartners. He also made numerous comments telling people to go shoot themselves in the face and drink bleach. The threats to shoot the children were made approximately an hour ago. End of quote. The information was forwarded to the Austin Regional Intelligence Center, an information clearinghouse for law enforcement agencies in Travis, Hayes, and Williams counties. Center personnel ran Carter's name, found either a driver's license or state ID card, and discovered that the address listed was within 100 yards of Woolridge Elementary School. Based on a Travis County prosecutor's belief that there was probable cause to charge Carter with third-degree terroristic threats, which carries a penalty of 2 to 10 years in prison, a judge issued an arrest warrant. U.S. Marshals traced Carter to the drapery shop in San Antonio, where he worked, and handcuffed the cherub-faced, brown-haired teen. Until that point, his only brush with the law was a temporary restraining order 2 years earlier. Now remember, everybody, this cat's 18 years old, barely out of high school. After his booking into Bexar County Jail, authorities discovered that he actually lived in New Braunfels, Comal County, and after his transfer there, his bond was increased from $250,000 to $500,000. According to Carter's attorney, Don Flannery, the 18-year-old suffered brutal attacks at the Comal County during the 4 months he was held there. Police recordings allege that upon being booked into Bexar County, Carter stated, "I guess what you post on Facebook matters." He had no idea. When officers searched Carter's home, Flannery says they did not find the hallmark of a lunatic. They found no guns in his house. Flannery said from his San Antonio office, they found no bomb-making materials. He follows this up with a dash of sarcasm. That's not a far stretch from the rhetorical flourishes that put his client in peril. They did find, however, the anarchist cookbook. Or they didn't find the anarchist cookbook. They didn't find, a bunch of newspapers clippings on the wall, conspiracy theories with yarn from one place to another. They didn't find pentagrams and candles. He wasn't listening to Judas Priest. Flannery's explanation for this is simple. His client is not a nut, but Flannery can't say the same for the jam that his client's in. This whole thing is totally and completely bonkers, he says. In the absence of any other evidence mentioned in Cornwall County Prosecutor Lauren Bates' filings, it's hard to disagree. Despite repeated calls, the Houston Press was unable to speak with Bates or anyone else in the Cornwall County District Attorney's Office. A receptionist told us that the only person authorized to speak to the media was District Attorney Jennifer Tharp herself, and she was unavailable. Naturally. One of the most striking things about the evidence so far tendered by the state is what is missing. The entire thread, which wasn't on Carter's Facebook page, containing all the damning comments. The state tells us Facebook didn't give it to them. Flannery says his unsuccessful tries to find Hannah Love, the only other profile included in the cell phone screenshot at this point, is still unclear whether Hannah Love is the anonymous Canadian tipster. Flannery believes it's paramount that if someone is criminally charged in the basis of his words, a jury needs to see all of the words. In this case, that includes whatever comments precipitated Carter's hyperbolic rant. If you understand the English language, when someone says, "I'm fucked in the head all right," comma, that's a preparatory phrase in response to a previous phrase. Presumably, someone said to him, "You're fucked in the head," or words similar to that. But Flannery says the Bates represented a truncated version of the comments to grand jurors. They did not see "I'm fucked in the head all right, I think I'm before shoot up a kindergarten." If this sounds like nitpicking of a defense attorney, that's precisely the point. When you're dealing with speech, Flannery says, it is absolutely 100% important that the words that you are charging people with are actually the words that they said and not some misrepresentation. And that's what this prosecutor did, is misrepresent to the grand jury what my client said. Still, there's even bigger problems. According to Flannery, his client's comments are not a terroristic threat as defined by the Texas Penal Code. Excuse me. According to the indictment, Carter's statement met two of the necessities required by state law. His words were uttered with the intent to place the public or substantial groups of the public in fear of serious bodily injury, or uttered with the intent to cause impairment or interruption of public communications, public transportation, public water, gas, power supplies, or other public services. Blah, 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 blah. Now you know why our laws are 40,000 pages. But Flannery likens the Facebook threat at issue to a fight on the playground. Just a couple of people spouting off, citing two key federal court rulings. Flannery says there must be a clear and present danger, and there must be a true threat. And if you don't have a true threat, then the First Amendment protects your speech. Plain and simple. Flannery also accuses law enforcement of coercing a confession from Carter while he was in jail. Hang on just 1 second, folks. Evidently, law enforcement personnel were unable to pinpoint legal jurisdiction as swiftly as they were able to make an actual arrest. For some reason, it wasn't until March 19th of 2013, more than a month after his arrest, that Carter was questioned by a New Braunfels detective. A month. He was still in the Travis County Jail, unindicted. Although Carter had been assigned a public defender, she wasn't present during the questioning and wasn't notified about it either. And according to Flannery, Detective Joe Robles implied that Carter would go free if he would just admit to being the same Justin Carter who posted the comments. Once one has a lawyer, it is unethical for the prosecutors to send any part of their team to include detectives to speak with someone who is represented, Flannery says. Never mind the unethical implications that the downright shady nature of the actions. When an officer goes and talks to a man who's in jail and tells them, waive your rights to an attorney because we're letting you go, or makes that implication, then that waiver is not given voluntarily anyway. So it's like being coerced into a confession from a legal standpoint. It's like, hey, if you talk to us, we'll let you go. But if you don't talk to us, you can sit here and rot. Frightened and naive, Carter copped to the comment. Instead of being released, he had only managed to transfer himself to another jail and double his bond. Emboldened by the confession, Comal County authorities moved him to their jurisdiction and secured an indictment on April 10th. Then he sits in jail for another 2 months, Flannery says. He has a court-appointed lawyer in Comal County, and this court-appointed lawyer, as far as we can tell, did nothing other than get an offer from the state, and the prosecution offered him 8 years in prison. The Comal County District Attorney Office did not intend for Carter to suffer what happened next, Flannery says, but it was reasonably foreseeable. He was sexually assaulted while in jail. Little 18-year-old kid, man. You see the picture of this kid. Wow. He definitely was not kept safe, Flannery said, and that's why it's not good to have an innocent 18-year-old guy in jail with very, very dangerous people. Though Carter's family has already gathered thousands of signatures for an online petition calling for a judicial review of the case, created a Save Justin Carter Facebook community page to raise interest in the case, and sold T-shirts to raise money to cover his bail, the goal was beyond their financial reach. He was stranded in jail. But by July 2013, Carter's defense had gained momentum in two important ways. Flannery stepped up and offered his services pro bono. Good guy. Something he wanted to do because he says this stuff is messed up. And the news coverage of the case, which up to that point had been reported on mostly by Austin and San Antonio media, went global. Flannery was particularly incensed at the $500,000 bond, saying the Texas Constitution and virtually all case law from it says that it is illegal to keep someone under conditions of bond they cannot afford. Flannery requested a hearing to reduce Carter's bond, and Carter's parents took advantage of the media's interest and began speaking about the emotional cost of the situation. Unfortunately, Flannery didn't want Carter or his parents to comment for this story. In a CNN interview, Carter's father, Jack, said that his son was under suicide watch. He's very depressed, Jack Carter said. He's very scared, and he's very concerned that he's not going to get out. He has pretty much lost all hope. Carter's mother, Jennifer, told the World Socialist website in June 2013 that when she first found out her son had been arrested, quote, "I thought as soon as the police talk to him, they will see what a joke it was and let him go. If anything, it would be a misdemeanor. I thought if they talked to him, they would realize it was just a sarcastic sense of humor," unquote. When asked what kind of person Carter was, Jennifer said, quote, "My son is sarcastic and has a dark sense of humor, for sure. But he's a pussycat. He can't fight. He has a younger brother, and when they would fight, Carter would always lose," unquote. Then shortly after, Flannery requested the bond reduction hearing. Good news came in the form of an anonymous donor who put up the money for Carter's bond. But in August of 2013 update, the Save Justin Carter page, Jennifer Carter expressed her continued fear over her son's future. Justin is out of jail, she wrote, but he is not free. If Carter's to be measured by his Facebook activity, he is, with all few notable exceptions, a pretty typical kid, as far, at least for a nerd. I don't know if I'd call him a nerd or not, but certainly he appears to be more comfortable online, where he met fellow fans of games like League of Legends and Minecraft. He boasted of high gaming scores, griped about schoolwork, and wrote a zombie apocalypse story in which he alternately protects New Austin from the cannibalistic Walking Dead and gets laid like a champ. He playfully sparred with his parents, who are divorced, and doted on his younger brother. The big red flag in his reference to a temporary restraining order a high school ex-girlfriend obtained against him in October of 2011. The ex, who asked not to be named, says that when she told him she wanted to end things after 2 weeks with him, Carter's behavior scared her. She said he talked about hurting himself and her. At first I thought he was just playing. She said I blew it off. But then she says he started threatening me, saying that he would kill me. I told school officers and they started watching him really closely. He would say that he would shoot up the school. She also accused him of stalking her. Because she and Carter were juveniles at the time, the order was not public, and the woman said that she did not have a copy. The woman said she was in foster care at the time and ran away from her group home before attempting to secure a permanent restraining order. There wasn't a determination either way about the veracity of her claims, and he, Carter, was never given the opportunity to answer it. Flannery says, adding that is entirely irrelevant to the charge against his client. Carter made light of the restraining order at times, writing on Facebook, "Wow, I can't believe I'm already at this phase of my life where a crazy ex takes out a restraining order on me." That sounds pretty typical of a kid, don't it? Now I have to go to court when I'm not even going to argue. I'm just going to be like, yes, give it to me. Give me one too, please. Shortly afterward, Carter claimed he was engaged to another student, writing that she is the love of my life and I'm so happy. Please be happy with me. If you are interested in attending our wedding, which will be held late next year, please let me know. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Comments posted earlier that year are darker. In January 2011, he wrote, "No one likes me. I have no friends. I'm ugly. I'm annoying. The only good aspect is I'm smart. Too smart. So smart, it bothers people. They think I'm crazy. I'm not a Christian. Another strike against me. I'm weird. No one likes the weird random kid." In April, he wrote, "Suicide. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Wish I had bigger balls. I'd fucking kill myself right now. But I'm a pussy. I hate myself." This was followed by a day later with "Kill Self," which drew concerns from his mother. Jennifer Carter posted on her son's Facebook page with unknowing presence, "You really need to think about what you're posting, Justin. You have people worried about your safety." According to Flannery, a funny thing happened when Carter got a new lawyer and media coverage exploded. Comal County prosecutors who wanted Carter off the streets for 8 years offered 10 years probation, with Carter pleading guilty to the felony charge. Flannery said he was insulted. The fact is, this case should be dismissed. He didn't do anything wrong. That's what the dictatorships all over the world used to do. They'd say, if you confess your crime against the state, we'll let you go. I mean, F you. I didn't do anything wrong. Just admit you're a witch or we'll burn you. Why won't you just admit you're a witch? Flannery is adamant that the case has been handled in just that way. The way that the criminal justice system is supposed to work and was envisioned by our founding fathers is, first you prove the crime, then you get the punishment. That's clearly how it's supposed to work. But now, in Justin's case, it's let's do the punishment first and we'll see if we can prove the crime. The damage has been done, and I suspect they know the damage has been done. I suspect that maybe one of the reasons they're holding on so hard is because they fear a lawsuit. Flannery says that as the father of 2 kids in elementary school, he understands why Austin police want to follow up on tips from Canada, but he says police questioning should have revealed a somewhat dorky kid who wrote something dumb and offensive, not a kid bent on mass murder. If they're spending their time chasing around people like Justin Carter, I hope they're not missing the real dangers to society, the real school shooters, Flannery says. There's only a finite number of police, and if they're chasing around guys who are being mean on Facebook, where are the ones fighting crime? That's the end of the story. Sorry about it being so long, folks, but I thought you needed to know every aspect of that. And I think that it should raise some serious red flags in all of your visions.
Yeah, and I'm not. Go ahead.
Go ahead, baby.
I mean, it's, when you get near the end of the story, it sounds like the kid was
a little off,
a little messed up. I mean, a little off, but that was like back in 2011, and we're in.
Hey man, he's only 18 now. I mean, come on, he was what, 16, 15,
exactly.
15?
That's
Those
what
kids
I'm
are going
saying.
through all
2011.
kinds of.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of the stuff he said and posted and everything else, I mean, it's just crying out for help.
Just attention from a girlfriend, man. I mean, come on. I remember saying shit like that when I was a teenager. Oh man, you're going to break up with me. I'm going to kill myself, man. I remember saying that shit. Come on.
Yeah, because other than the Columbine one, I think most of them have been engineered after that anyway. So, the risk of it happening, I think, was probably pretty low. But they've taken it way out of context, that's for sure.
And that's my point. That right there is exactly my point. Thank you, brother, for saying that. Taking it out of context. And here is the reason that I put this story out. Anybody around you, anybody on the other side of the world can see something that you post on Facebook, take it completely out of context, make a couple of phone calls, and toss your life in a grinder. You get where I'm going with that?
The most important detail of the story was actually in the third, fourth paragraph that you read, and I'll repeat it. It was the actual details and context of the online exchange are, in the eyes of the authorities, unimportant. So, the actual details and context of the exchange are unimportant because they have a snapshot of 1, 2, 3, 4 posts on a thread in a picture, and that's what they went on.
So the facts are unimportant.
That's what the article said in the beginning.
In your prosecution now.
Amazing.
The context of your conversation is unimportant. The fact that they can't find the other person in the thread, that's unimportant.
So is this going on right now? I mean, this is I can't see any dates on this story. Is this lawyer, is this currently going on? There's a case getting ready to happen about this, or?
This was posted on Thursday, February 13th. So yeah, this happened yesterday. This story was dropped yesterday.
Okay.
As far as all the arrests and everything, I think the dates are in the article itself. He was arrested back in late 13.
It was in 13. Okay.
Yeah, but he's still in jail. Well, I think he got out on bail, right? They said that some anonymous donor posted, but he's still, it's like, somebody making an anonymous threat against you or an anonymous, tip to the police that you're a pedophile. That's all it takes, man. They don't have to have any freaking proof. All they have to do is get a phone call and say, hey, Joey Bag of Donuts at 123 Main Street has some kiddie porn on his computer. I saw it yesterday. And guess what? In about 30 minutes, you're getting your door kicked in by a SWAT team. And your whole life is going upside down now. They're going to take every electronic piece of shit you got in your house and they're going to toss it. They're going to toss it all over the inside of their FBI headquarters or wherever the hell they go with it. And they're going to pull every little thread that you ever typed on that thing out. And they're going to compile a huge list of shit to charge you with. And you didn't do nothing. You just pissed off your neighbor by having a barking dog. Or maybe you went one too many rows over when you were mowing your grass and got him torqued off at you. Or maybe you had some little discussion with some jackass over in California somewhere because you like a Chevy and he likes a Ford. You see where I'm going with that? You see where I'm going with that? Because there's some screwed up individuals out there. You people know. You if you're on social media at all, you see them. There's trolls everywhere. They show up in our chat room on a daily basis sometimes. You see where I'm going with that, Lance? You guys in chat,
Oh, yeah.
You see where I'm going with that? Everybody out there listening, you see where I'm going? Now, you might think that, who cares, man? It's just a little comment. Trolls be trolls. Haters be haters. But in this kind of society, man, when you got these kind of jackass cops that are just eager as hell to beat your ass for whatever reason, this is why you got to watch your six. You might want to say whatever you want to say. I've been caught doing it on this mic. I'll get off on rants, and after I'm done with the rant, I'll go, oh shit, did I really say that? And sometimes I'll admit it. I say, fuck it. I don't care. It's my mic. It's my airtime. I'll do what I want. But you can't do that, man. You know, there's so much more riding on this. When you're on that Facebook and you're typing all that crap, think about if you got a kid sitting in the other room, or you got a wife. Shit, you got a sister. You got brothers. Got a mom and dad. That's their name too. You know what I mean? When you drag them into the dirt, you take them with you. Even if it's not your choice to take that ride, even if you get caught up in some troll shit like this kid did, it's too late, you know? You can't start crying once the door's kicked in. It's too late. You can't unspeak a word. You can't unthrow a rock. You see what I'm saying? I mean, once that leaves your keyboard, once you hit that enter key and you put it out there, it's out there forever. Ask Bieber. Ask Madonna. Ask, you know, there's all kinds of shit all over the internet that they want removed. It ain't going anywhere. There's posts about Obama that he wanted removed with him and the gun, shooting all backwards and blowing bubbles and whatever. Michelle looking like a demon. They want that shit removed from the internet. They've been bitching for years about having it removed. It ain't going anywhere. So long as one person has it cached in their hard drive, it ain't going anywhere. That's what you got to remember. When you put it out there, it's out there. And people can take it and use it however they want to. Picture, text, screenshots of, you know, a private conversation, a Skype conversation, whatever. They got recording software. They can take a conversation and cut it up and splice it together and make you sound like you are talking about aliens from the planet Plutarch. And respect. That's the final thing, because we're coming down to the last few minutes of this show. That's one thing that I learned from my parents, and it gets reinforced by my friends a lot. Jules reinforces it in me almost weekly now. Respect. Some people just don't get it. They think they do. They talk like they do. They act like they do. But they don't get it. You have to have respect for people that show you respect. For people that dip their hand down to you and give you, oh, I don't know, a platform to talk on. Something like that. You know? Something they're footing out of their own pocket. Something that they scratched together over years and years, trying to perfect, make work for them. When somebody like that gives you an opportunity to speak your truth, to get your word out, to help other people, you have to respect that, period. You might not agree, but you have to respect it. You agree, Lance?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always been along those lines of thoughts. I mean, there's plenty of people I fully, respect, for the actions that they do. I mean, you with your mother, Jules, with the radio, just like you said. I mean,
you with your
local
son.
People, yeah. Yep, my wife for putting up with all of us. I mean,
My mother for putting up with me.
Yeah. I mean, today's my 20-year anniversary, and here I am on the air. So.
Yeah, and how cheesy is that, folks? He got married on Valentine's Day, so he'd never forget his anniversary.
Absolutely. Come on now, that's just smart as hell.
You Hallmark bag of donuts, you.
Come on.
It's a Hallmark holiday, brother. They made it up.
Oh, I know. It's some guy that got murdered, and we celebrate his martyrdom by giving chocolate away to people.
He was beheaded and buried under cow manure, man. Jeez.
And we celebrate his memory. Yeah.
With chocolate.
With chocolate. And flowers.
And flowers.
And paying double.
Yeah. And slinky nighties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sleazy hotel rooms with hot tubs.
Even nice ones. You never know.
Yeah, not in this economy.
I'll tell you what,
Obama.
I left work at 4:50 today, and I work right next to a Texas Roadhouse, and you couldn't find a parking spot in there. They were already parking in the bank parking lot across the street and walking across the parking lot at 4:50. They already had a line out the door to get in. So there's plenty of people out there spending it. We boycotted even though it's our anniversary just because we can go out when it's not so crowded next Tuesday and nobody's going to know the difference.
Right. And tomorrow's half price chocolate. So yay.
Exactly. And flowers and everything else. So you can get roses for $4.99 a dozen tomorrow.
Right. I'm going to jump over here real quick and say hi to everybody in the chat room before we get out of here. We've got about a minute left. Let's see. 8 Hawks is in there. Beer Night, Desert Hawk, me, Hecty, Hunt. Thanks for coming in, Hunt. Jax, Joe Friday, Jules. You rock, Jules. I love you very much. Coda, Mom T. Welcome to the room. Mom T. I haven't seen you in a minute. Glad you're here. Mr. Bond, SLC Mike, Mr. Vincent Easley, Techie, and a bunch of Anons. Thanks everybody for showing up. We will see you tomorrow night for After the Last Cup live Saturday night radio. Got a new show coming on before. I can't remember who it is for the life of me, and I'm so embarrassed about that. But y'all make sure you tune in for that one. The hour before. We're going to 2 hours tomorrow night for After the Last Cup. So
doesn't it come on at 10?
Yeah, 9 to 10. 9 to 10 will be that new show.
Right.
We'll see you tomorrow night. And then we'll see you back here again on Monday. Peace everybody.
Folks.
Thanks, Lance.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Enjoy your weekend, folks. Stay tuned. Anti-Media Radio is coming up next with LeBon. I'm going to make sure I forward the phones like I'm supposed to.